Chapter 18. A Visit to the Space. Celestial Bodies. Gazing up at the night sky, you may have wondered about the moon and the stars shining above you. What are these shining bodies? How far are they from us? Why do they shine? Where did they come from? These are some natural queries arising in a curious mind. The natural bodies in the sky that include the sun, the moon, the stars and many other objects are called celestial bodies or heavenly bodies. These encompasses the universe. Space is the empty expanse that exists between these heavenly bodies, including the earth. The universe is a huge, wide open space that holds everything, from the smallest particle to the biggest galaxy, all planets, stars, moons, clouds of dust and gases. The Moon. The moon is our nearest neighbor in space. It is much smaller than the earth. It moves around the earth. As the moon moves around the earth, it seems to change its shape. It keeps changing its shape within a month's span. From a full moon, it begins to decrease in size gradually till it becomes crescent-shaped and then finally disappears. It again increases gradually till it becomes a full moon. On a full moon night, the moon looks like a big bright circle. A moonless night is dark. Does the moon actually change its shape? No, it does not. The moon has no light of its own. The light we see is actually sunlight bouncing off the moon's surface. At any time, half of the moon is lit up by sun's light while the other half is in darkness. As the moon goes around the earth, different portions of the lit side are visible. Thus, only its appearance from the earth changes. We call it phases of the moon. What about a visit to the moon? Have you ever been fascinated by the idea of visiting the moon and going into the space? How can we go into the space? A spacecraft. You need a spacecraft to go into the space. A spacecraft or spaceship is a vehicle designed to be used for going into the space. A spacecraft can accommodate 6 to 7 astronauts. A person who is trained to travel into the space in a spacecraft is known as an astronaut. Can you imagine how the Earth looks like from space? Here is the photograph of the Earth and the Moon, taken by astronauts going for a space mission. From space, the Earth looks like a blue sphere. That is why it is called the blue planet. The Moon is just like a tiny ball revolving around it. A visit to the moon. The American space mission Apollo 11 landed on the moon on 20 July 1969. It was the first mission of its kind, launched by Kennedy Space Center at Florida, USA. It carried 3 astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and Michael Collins. Among them, Neil Armstrong was the first to step on the moon. Indian explorers. In 1984, Squadron leader Rakesh Sharma became the first Indian to go into the space. Kalpana Chawla was the first American woman of Indian origin to go into the space. She, along with other astronauts, traveled to International Space Lab in the Space Shuttle Columbia. On 1st February 2003, the Space Shuttle Columbia, while returning to the Earth carrying the astronauts, exploded and burned down. Kalpana Chawla died along with other astronauts. Sunita Williams, an American astronaut of Indian origin, was the first woman to stay in space for 193 days. It was the longest stay recorded so far. Things that float in space. See the picture alongside. You can see an astronaut floating in the space. Why does he appear to float in the space when he walks on Earth? Let us find out. Take a globe. If the bottom of the globe is simulated as the bottom of Earth, everything on the bottom of the globe would appear to fall off. But this does not happen. This is because everything on the Earth is held by an attraction. That is why a ball thrown upward comes back to the Earth. This pull or attraction is called the gravity. All massive bodies exert this force. But this force does not exist in space, so things keep floating around. Space suit. Do you see astronauts in special suits? A space suit is what astronauts wear to protect themselves from extreme coldness in space. There's no air that humans can breathe. There's only vacuum. Astronauts wear a special suit during the launch and re-entry. It protects them from the changes in the pressure that happens. The environment on the moon. If we can step on the moon, then why can't we live on the moon? Let us find out. According to the research, there is no air on the moon. There is no water too, hence clouds are not formed here. The surface of the moon is rocky and covered with the dust. It has high mountains and big pits called craters. Life cannot exist here. Stars. You must have seen millions of stars in the sky at night. Stars are giant balls of gases in the space. They are much bigger than the Earth. They are far away from us. That is why they look so small. The Sun is the nearest star. So, it appears somewhat bigger. Word bank. Spacecraft. A vehicle designed to be used to go into the space. Astronaut. A person trained to travel into the space in a spacecraft. Spacesuit. A garment worn to keep a human alive in the harsh environment of space, vacuum and temperature extremes. In a nutshell, we see the sun in the day sky and moon and stars in the night sky. Space is the empty expanse that exists between the heavenly bodies including the Earth. The universe is the vast space around us which includes stars, planets, satellites, etc. A spacecraft is a vehicle designed to be used for going into space. Rakesh Sharma was the first Indian to go into the space. Kalpana Chawla was the first American woman of Indian origin to go into the space. Sunita Williams, an American astronaut of Indian origin, was the first woman to stay in space for 193 days.